I call to order this meeting of the Decennial Committee of the Niles Main District Library. Richard, I'm sorry, are you ready?
You're good. Oh,
okay. March 13th, 2024.
Okay, roll call. President Keene.
Present.
Vice President Trunko absent with prior notice. Secretary Rosansky.
Here.
Treasurer Botello.
Present.
Trustee Kadir absent with prior notification. Trustee Derblick absent with prior notification. And Trustee Schoenfeld. Here. Perfect. Let's go for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, I'm so sorry. We have our committee member, and I don't have your name written down. I apologize. Can you state your name?
Dave Sheeler.
Dave Sheeler, and
Yeah.
you are here. Thank you, Dave.
And for what it's worth, I don't know if there's a David Schur on there, but in the
So it was,
agenda or the report, it's,
your name was put in correctly?
yeah.
I
just
am
for
so
what
sorry.
it's worth. I just,
Would you
It's
mind
been a
writing it
while.
down here
Sure.
for me? Thank you so much.
All right, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now for public comment on our list is Elliot Osherman.
Good evening, Board. This is Elliot Osherman. Welcome to the public comment section of tonight's Decennial Committee meeting. I understand I have 3 minutes, so I will forego my usual comments about non-declarative statements, about addressing comments to the entirety of the Board, and paying attention. I'll start with a quote. Santayana once said, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." While this committee is in charge of predicting the future and making changes to reflect that responsibility, in an effort to promote greater efficiency, we most certainly cannot forget the past. I have seen a draft of a report and feel that it needs to be fleshed out and describe the past few years of the library and the library board's efforts, both good and bad. Let's start with the good. In the past few years, the library, the staff, and its board have been acknowledged in several ways and several times, including naming the library as a star library several times, including grants for successful marketing innovations several times, and having the current board president named as trustee of the year. Those are all good. Yet the library has had some issues and problems and challenges in the past few years as well. Some of them were board caused, some were not. For example, COVID was not predictable. Certainly it could not have been part of the strategic plan from the mid-teens to 2021. The decline in staff morale was following what is called the law of unintended consequence, a result, among others, of the so-called temporary hiring freeze. The hiring freeze itself presented certain challenges in its implementation. The board has now had a chance to read and review the Matrix's staffing and efficiency report. It lists in no uncertain terms several positions that should have been filled by now, and certainly in a more proactive approach. These results vacancies are magnified by the hiring freeze. These are not statements by someone or an organization with an axe to grind. These are statements by an objective observer. I wish this committee well in its endeavor to cast an objective, positive view of the library's next 10 years. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are on 5, discussion of the Niles Main District Library progress on our draft report for compliance with the Decennial Committees on Local Government Efficiency Act. I don't know, Valerie, if you wanted to read your memo or...
I just want to state, as it says in the memo, that this is my first meeting. I'm happy to be here to help shape the future of the library as the new executive director. the reason why, at least part of the reason why the report is still very sparse is because I am still learning the information from the past of the library. I've only been here for 2 months, and as I learn, I will be adding to this report as I meet with my department heads and things of that nature, but also I appreciate any information on what I should look into to make sure it gets into the report. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
The main thing I saw in this, and I understand you've only been here a short time, was the awards and recognitions. We have received quite a few, Star Library being one of them. And I do think that when we make our final report, it would be nice to have those in our final report.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any comments or questions on the report that we do have so far?
I have a question for the committee related to the review of laws, policies, rules and procedures, training materials, and other documents. I myself, as the director, have reviewed the majority of these. As the committee, are we reviewing them collectively, separately, or are we comfortable as long as someone on the committee has reviewed these? Where is the stance of the committee on that?
That's a good, I mean, that's a question that we all have to talk about.
Yeah.
We haven't actually made that decision, so.
Okay.
I kind of feel like that goes for the whole report, really. Because the first time that we met, we really just talked about what could be filled in by the staff, and then it didn't really, you know, it kind of got dropped off with everything else that happened, and so we're glad to have something on the report. I'm glad to have something on the report right now because there was nothing on it before. So, I mean, I guess we can open it up for discussion. Personally, I feel like, you know, if it gets input by someone on the staff and the committee reviews it together, we can, I mean, I think that makes more sense because we're not here to know that information. We don't have access to that information. If it's something like rules and regulations that we can get on websites and something that we can help with to make it a little bit less on staff, that would be okay too. I don't know how.
Most of these on this list are general laws that are available online. So the state laws applicable to libraries, there's an entire book of those, for example.
Right.
But the most important one is the Library District Act that applies to us, I would say, and other things of that nature. These are general information. So I was just curious as to whether the purpose of this report in the view of the committee is ensuring that staff is trained in these areas, because we are, and I'm making sure that we are, or if the committee is going to be reviewing these things because it is an extensive list.
I think the first one.
Okay,
I also do,
okay.
but that's only two of us. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, because you are the ones that are actually working here and doing what is necessary. So yes, I feel the staff is most important to know this stuff.
Okay, so for me, as long as I can mark off saying, yes, the relevant staff knows these things, that would be good for the committee. That's what we're looking for.
As far as I'm concerned. I don't know how anybody else feels.
I think the point of the whole thing is to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So
Exactly.
that
Right, it's
falls
all
right in
compliance
line
with
that,
one
yes.
another.
Okay, so then what I'll do, at least for this specific part, is go through and make sure that all relevant staff are trained and then check that off for the next committee meeting.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
Perfect. And does anyone on the committee have anything to discuss that they would like me to add to the report about what we've done well, or any inefficiencies that I should look into with the staff or as the new director? I know we might not be at that point yet, but just trying to, you know, gather information.
I personally feel that things are starting to go to the positive. And so I'm satisfied with what's going down for the most part.
Perfect.
I'm satisfied we've got the union dealt with,
Mhm.
which is huge.
Mhm.
I'm satisfied with a lot of the things that have gone down more recently. I feel, I don't personally see any negativity.
Okay, perfect. And I have, as many of the board members already know, I've been leading meet and greet events with the public, and just so the public does know, hi, I'm going to have a meet and greet event this coming Saturday at 10:30 in the morning. If everyone would like to come and join me, I'd really appreciate it. I've been asking what they're looking for from the library, what they appreciate from the library, and the overwhelming response has been very positive, that we have excellent staff, people really like our programs, and there have just been some requests for additional programs, but that's really the only comment that I've had to improve things, is to just add even more of what we're already doing well, which is really nice.
We're trying to work up to the staffing level so we can have the programs. We aren't quite there yet, I don't think, are we?
No, we do need to add staff. That is part of the matrix study suggestions as well. And I'll talk about this at next week's board meeting as well, but I am going to work with Sickich to try and figure out how much money we have left this fiscal year to potentially hire with. But the majority of hiring decisions would have to be made for next fiscal year, because in this fiscal year, our budget has gone towards the ratification of the union contract and adjusting salaries in that way. So we're trying to do it, but we're trying to do it responsibly.
Which I appreciate.
I think that numbers 6 and 7 might be we might be able to add to that more. That's the intergovernmental agreements and the community partnerships.
Yes.
As you go through it more and talk with staff more, I'm sure there's more things to add in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I would, myself, I'll think more about, what have we done well and those other things before the next time that we meet. I can maybe come up with some things too.
Perfect.
Well, I know I've heard from teachers in the area. They're happy that they have outreach again.
Yes, I've heard wonderful things about that as well.
So that's a positive.
Roberto, any comments? Or
No,
questions?
I'm satisfied with the report as it reads. Thank you.
Dave?
I think it looks good. I don't have, the background to really add a lot, but, I think there's a pretty big list of what's going well as someone who has taken a lot of the programs, like specifically in the technology area, the maker stuff and everything. And I've also attended some similar programs at, for example, the Skokie Library. And I tell you, we are head and shoulders above them. I was really shocked because, their library just seems so great and everything, but we're really head and shoulders above them. So I think there are a lot of things that I see from my very small, limited perspective that we do well. I don't have the big picture like everyone else here, and probably the best sign that, things are good is that we're not hearing, things in the papers and all of that. So I think it's a huge positive.
Yes, and on the other, talking about another library, I have a lot of friends that live in Park Ridge, and they're telling me, oh, we had this, we had that, but people from other towns can't come. It's Park Ridge only. We open it up. We have, a week, I think, maybe, that only residents can sign up, but after that, non-residents can sign up. So we try and be all,
Inclusive.
inclusive, thank you. My word wasn't coming to me, I didn't have enough coffee. So anyway, Yeah, and I've heard a lot of great things about Skokie. And because of the school district I live in, I've had to deal a lot with Park Ridge. And yes, I've firsthand had experience with them not allowing me to take out certain things or participate in certain things because we lived in Niles. But we live in 64, so that's where my kid went. So, you know, they should be more accepting of people who live in the school district, than, in my opinion. They are, but that's them. I don't live there. I don't go there anymore, so it doesn't matter.
I have also heard positive comment that we do have that time frame for our residents to sign up first and have priority before we open up to the general public. So I do like that we have that balance.
Definitely.
And can I call you Dave?
Oh, please do.
You are exactly who we want to talk to because you're our patron. You're coming in and telling
That's
us
what I was gonna
how
say.
things look from the people who we're trying to serve. So thank you so much.
Well, I mean, just to maybe give you a little bit more information about that, I took a software class at Skokie Library, all right? And it was an hour and a half. And it was painful. And I ended up coming here the next day, and it was a completely unrelated class. Todd, the person who taught the class, I was telling him about the experience, and this was before class. He pulls up the software program, Canva, and basically shows me exactly what the instructor at Skokie Library couldn't tell me. And he did this like just in a little 3-minute thing before class, and just, it was fantastic. So, I mean, that is just great service.
Thank you.
It's nice to hear that.
It is.
Suzanne, did you have anything you wanted to question? Or?
Everything is headed in the right direction.
I don't remember, Valerie, do you, when we have to have this?
Wasn't it
December
December
6th is the due date. So we have to have at least one more meeting prior to December 6th to talk about the final report.
I would suggest that we wait until after the budget and all that stuff is done.
Yes.
So,
I agree.
yeah,
Because
so
that's
we don't
high
really need to
priority.
meet again then until after
I would say
summer.
the fall. Yeah.
And so I don't think, I think it makes more sense to put some dates out later than to try and figure one out now, because it could all change for every one of us 5 times before then, so.
Yes,
agree.
definitely.
Okay,
So,
okay. I have nothing further. Anyone else?
No.
Thank you for the work that you put into it, and like Sue said, we are headed in the right direction, and
And it's nice to hear positive things about the staff.
yes.
do we need
Great
to
stuff.
motion to adjourn? Or-
Yes.
Yes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I so motion.
Second.
Okay. President Keene,
Yes.
Secretary Rosansky,
Yes.
Treasurer Batella,
Yes.
Trustee Schoenfeld.
Yes.
Okay. Adjourned at 7:18.
Uh,
I don't think
Oh,
he
I-
votes.
He doesn't have to
No,
say?
he doesn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure, because